I'm just going to press record. Awesome, because I always forget to record these and then send the replay out. Hi everyone, nice to see you. I hope you're really well. All right, we are gonna kick this off straight away because we have quite a bit to get through, and from the messages I've been getting from you guys, you're pretty excited to learn. So a little bit of quick housekeeping on Zoom. A lot of people haven't used Zoom before. You guys are all muted, so you don't have to worry about noises in the background, dogs barking, kids coming in, things like that. We do have a little chat box down the bottom, and so you can absolutely use that. I'm going to encourage you and invite you to use that throughout today, because you will soon learn that I am a generator in human design and I love to respond. So I love interaction, I love teaching online, but I also really need that communication. So that at points through today's class, I'll say, can you type into the chat box what your type is or what your strategy is or what your authority is? You will learn what they mean. I'd love for you to do that in the chat box, okay? That would be really cool. But just for now, if someone could type in the chat box, if you can hear me okay and see me okay, that would be amazing. Just so before I really dive in, I know we're all good with the tech. Yay, thank you, Ali. Awesome, Emily. Nice to see your name pop up. Alrighty, just gonna make sure everyone's come in. Okay, all right, so I hope you have a notepad and a pen, and if you have your body graph, have that near you, because you'll probably like me and you'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting, and do I have that on my graph? So if you have your body graph with you, that'll be super helpful as well. All right, Alicia's in, Ellie's in, Emily, Katie, Lauren, Kate, welcome. So cool. Okay, let me share my screen. As I said, for those who've just joined in, we've got the chat box. We're going to chat in there and get to know each other a little bit better maybe today. You're definitely going to get to know yourself a lot better too. All right, so give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen share. Awesome, thank you. Alrighty. So, hi everyone, my name's Carly. Welcome to today's online class. So I thought I would start with just introducing myself a little bit so you know who I am and who the heck is this lady teaching about this thing called human design. Maybe you can type in the chat box if you had heard of human design before, if you're new to it, if you're a well-researched, well-studied human design student, then I'd love to know that as well. So type that in the chat box. So today we're going to really cover off the basics. I think I pretty much emphasized that when I was promoting this and also in your emails. This is very much a taster, a starter class. Okay, it's as much as I can probably give you in an hour that won't overwhelm you, but please know that human design is a really complex, not a difficult system, but there's a lot of complexities and a lot of different layers to it. And so it does take time to learn it, to practice it, to feel it. And so what you're going to get out today is a few little tasters, a few little nuggets of gold that you can go away and look at your chart and understand, and then start practicing some of the questions and the decision-making practices that we're going to teach today. So let me just make sure everyone is in from the waiting room. All right, so who have we got? Alicia, new to this, really excited to learn. Ellie's been having a little bit of a read, I know. We've got some newbies. Everyone else is new. Awesome. Now, I just want to, sorry guys, just a sec. Tech's not helping me in a second. I just know there's two people in the waiting room, so I'm just going to let them in. And then we're going to kick on in here. All right, so I'm going to go screen share and then I'm going to jump back to look at the chat box and answer questions as we go. If there's a question that is not on today's topic, please know there's more trainings coming. Okay. All right, so who am I? Let's go. I'm Carly. I have a background in social work and art therapy. That's sort of my credentials, I guess you could say. I've been a business coach for 10 years and coached hundreds of women to really reach their full potential. I am the founder of the Joy Society, doors opening today, because I wanted to create a space where you guys could come and learn human design at a deeper level and just really learn about who you are, truly are, and rediscover and reconnect with that. So I have been a speaker and a teacher. I've been in the coaching area for many, many years. I'm very passionate about women living lives that they love. And so I have been doing human design readings privately, one-on-one, for a long time, probably the last 6 or 7 months. And this is my first time really teaching it to a group setting in this way. So I know you're going to be super kind to me in that. And you'll learn as we go through how I teach is totally in alignment with my personal human design. So I am a generator. I am a generator. For the purpose of this class, I need you to know that. I'm a sacral authority, which we're going to talk about, and I'm a 4/6 profile. So I would love to get some juice sort of flowing in the chat box. If you could type in, if you'd like to share, what is your type? If you've done your body graph, what is your authority? And if you know your profile, you can type that in as well. For some reason, my little arrow's not wanting to help me out here. So we're just going to do it like this. So today what we're going to learn about is what human design is in a nutshell. And I say in a nutshell because it is, as I say, very, very complex. There is a lot to learn, and I am no expert at all. In fact, I think there's only a few experts in human design on the planet, and they've been studying this for 20+ years. So I'm very much a student of human design, but I do know enough, and I have been experimenting and playing around with this enough to be able to share these basic intro steps to you. We're going to go through the 5 types of energetic beings in the world. Okay, so I'm a generator. We're going to go through the other 4 as well. We're going to talk about how you can start to live in alignment with your unique energy. There is no point learning about human design if you're not going to apply it and act on it. So I'm going to be giving you some really great strategies on how to start living in alignment with that unique energy type that you are. And I'll talk about that as we go through. And then we're also going to talk about how to make decisions in your life and follow your inner authority and strategy too. Okay. Now, I wanted to put this in straight up because I have a lot of people at the end of little chats that I've done or mini workshops I've done, or when I've talked about this on Instagram, say to me, can you do a reading for me? And I do readings privately. I haven't promoted them because I've had enough to do just from people hearing me talk about it in my daily life and people seeing me start to live more in alignment with my own energy type. So I do have an offer. If at the end of this you would like your own personal reading done, you will receive a document that looks something like this. I'm very good at changing colors and things like that. That's my human design type. But you will get your own personalized report, and it's usually anywhere from sort of 15 to 20 pages long, where I really dig deeper into your human design, your unique body graph, your type, your strategy, your authority, the gates and channels on your chart, how you can really start to live in alignment with your design every day, and some affirmations and reminders for daily action, because I'm really, really big on that. Okay, so that's just on offer. It's generally $120 for a personal reading, and I'm going to give it to you guys on the webinar today for $80. You just need to let me know before May 12th, because I'd love to get them out and done to you next week before some other really cool stuff is happening in my world. Okay, so that is there for you guys. I'm just going to go into the chat because I want to see if we've got some types here. So we've got Ali's a projector with emotional authority. We've got generator, manifesting generator, manifesting generator. You'll see that you guys have got different authorities. Awesome. So we've mainly got generators, manifesting generator, projector. Cool. All right. Yay. That gives me an idea about where we're at. We've got a Marta 1-3. Cool. Okay, let's dive in. So What is human design? Okay, so human design. How I like to think about this, and I encourage you guys when you start doing your own learning and digging a little bit deeper, how I like to think about it is that our personal human design, so this is your design that happened when you were born, the moment you were born, this design was put out into the world. This is your energetic frequency in this life. And I like this picture because this is kind of how I look at people now with energy. I see different colors and different shades of colors with people, because what we're doing here is we're living in our own frequency, means that we will attract what we need from the quantum field. Now, I don't know if anyone has done any quantum physics or quantum field studies or is into learning more about the law of attraction, or has done any, meditations where you visualize what you want. That is putting an energetic frequency out into the field. And when we embody that frequency, we attract what we need and the success and the abundance that we deserve into our lives. Human design is about remembering who you are and coming back to your frequency. Okay? And when we're, as we say, when we're living in that, we're just being truly authentic, we're being exactly who we are, we will attract what we need. And things will feel less difficult. There'll be more flow, there'll be less resistance. Now, human design was developed, or it really came to the founder in the 80s. It came to him in a vision. And his name is Ra Uru. So if you want to have a look at any of his books, you can go on Amazon and have a look at what he wrote. But he talks about it is an experiment. It's not a religion, it's not a doctrine, it's not an absolute. It is an experiment. Have fun with it, play with it, try things on, experiment with different decisions and how things feel in your body. And that's what really drew me to it, was that it wasn't saying, like most personality tests out there, this is who you are and this is the only career you can have, and this is, it's not like that. It's saying this is your energy type. Experiment in the field, have a play around with it and see what works for you. And so that's sort of how I come to human design. That's how I teach human design. That's how I embody and experiment, and how I also use human design in my parenting and my marriage and my business to just play and explore. But I have to say that in the last 9-10 months of really diving deep into my own human design and remembering who I am, it's felt like a permission slip just to be more like me, right? And I hope you guys, as we go through this, will have some aha moments of, wow, it does sound like she's talking about who I truly am under all the layers and all the conditioning and all the pressures from other people and all the expectations and the obligations and societal norms. So human design really is an experiment. Okay. And when I give people their reading, the response I generally get from people is, oh my gosh, I feel like you've just seen into my soul. I feel like you've really seen me. And when someone shares their chart with me, I just think it's such a personal thing to share. And I really honor that, because it is like looking through, the window to your soul. I can see who you are and who you really want to be and what you're here to do and your purpose. So it's really, really exciting as a practitioner as well. Now, human design is a synthesis of many systems, and it is as deep and complex as we are. Okay. I've read lots of books. I spend hours and hours a week studying this, and I'm still kind of scratching the surface, basically, on what I know about this system. And I learn something new every day. And it isn't, when you're practicing and embodying your human design, it's not actually an intellectual thing. It is a body sense. So what I'd love to invite you to do is, as you're learning today and as you go out into the world with this knowledge and you start to practice and use your strategy, I would really like for you to notice when you sink too much into your brain and try to fall back into your body. What's your body telling you about this? What feels good? Does this feel right for you? Because human design is really not an intellectual practice at all. It is the experiment of deconditioning yourself back to your true essence, your energetic blueprint, your aura, whatever language you like. This is what you were at the moment you were born. So that's why when you went to get your body graph, you had to put in your time of birth as accurately as you possibly could, because a minute or two either way can kind of skew your body graph. So making sure that, yeah, you're really putting in that right information. And I had a girlfriend last year who put in her birth information and her chart came up and it never felt right. Like, knowing her, I was like, this doesn't feel like you. When I was doing her, reading her stuff and letting her know a few things around her personality and her profile. And then months later, she messaged me and said, oh, it was the wrong birth time. I was like, I knew that. It didn't feel like you. So make sure you get some accurate information there. This system actually combines the Hindu chakra system, astrology, the Chinese I Ching wheel, and the Kabbalah tree of life. So it is like, if you think how complex and amazingly incredibly dynamic astrology is, that's only a small part of this system. So really, really cool. So before we jump into the parts of the chart, I want to kind of walk you through what you're seeing when you actually get up your chart. I'm just going to come out and check the chat box and make sure we've got everyone in from the waiting room. Cool. So everyone's in. Beautiful. I don't like people sitting in that little waiting room waiting for me. So when you got your chart, hands up or something in the chat box, did you look at it and go, what the hell does that even mean? Yeah, it's like another language, right? And that was my first thought when I opened mine up and went, I don't even have time to even think about that, when my friend Carla first sent it to me. And then months later, I was like, lots of people I know are talking about this. Carla's saying it's great. People are really getting into this. I'm going to look at it. And oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I did. So this is my chart. When you get up your body graph or your blueprint, this is the outline that you'll see. And so I just want to point out the different parts of the chart in regards to the centers. So I've actually, if you've got your body graph printed, you might want to write what they are on there. So we have the head. So the head is obviously up here. The ajna is sort of behind the eyes. It's your mind, your throat, your G center, your sacral, where your just under your rib cage is your sacral. Then you've got your root, your spleen, your solar plexus, and your heart. Now, I'm not going to go into centers today and what they mean. That would take another hour. So we will do that in another class. That's not the focus, but it is important that you kind of know what the different parts of the graph are. You have your gates here. So these colored in lines here are defined gates. These are all gates. All these white lines are gates. Okay. And they're called a gate if they don't reach from one side right to the next. So from that center to that center. If they do, like down here between my sacral and my spleen, we call that a channel. You've got your profile. So I have cut this off a little bit, but this little number up here is a 6. And if you could see it over here, it's a 4. So I am a 4-6 profile. We will do that in another class, I promise. What else? You do get told your incarnation cross, which is based on these arrows and which way they point, and a few other things in the chart. Where there's also circuits. So just giving you some language or some lingo that you might hear if you start to delve into human design. Or when you get your reading done with me, you'll understand that you'll hear that language and go, oh, I remember her talking about that stuff. But today, what we're focusing on is really just your type, your strategy, and your authority. So you would have also got this come up on your report as well. And that's how you would have gone, oh, great, I'm a generator, but I don't know what that means. Great, my strategy is to respond. I don't know what that means. We're going to cover off on that today. We're going to talk a little bit about your signature as well as your authority. And we'll leave profile and incarnation cross for another day. So hopefully you guys all got that from mybodygraph.com and that's kind of making sense to ya. All right. So let's dive into our types. So the 5 energetic types in the world. And you will see me looking down a little bit. I have lots of notes as well because I don't want to forget things that are going to be really helpful for you today. But there are 5 energetic types in the world. And this really is what we call your auric presence. And that is, you've probably heard the term aura, but it's really your energy field. And that is felt before your body arrives. So you will feel someone's energy if you're really tuned in and awake to it before you meet their body. Okay, and it's about 6 feet around the body. And so this is the energy you carry. So generators have a certain kind of aura, and it's different to manifestors, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. The thing we need to understand here is that we need all of these aura types in the world to move civilization forward. And the more I can help, and the more a lot of human design teachers can help people step back into their own individual energy, the more whole the energy of the world will be, if that makes sense. So we're like little puzzle pieces. If you look at a puzzle, there's all different shapes. And if you think about all the different types, projectors are one shape, manifesting generators are another, generators are another. There's all different shapes of puzzle, but when they fit together beautifully, they create an awesome picture, right? And so we need all types. So if you got your type and you were like, oh, I didn't really want that one, or oh, that other one sounds a bit cooler, I want you to really remember that we need all types, and you're here in this lifetime with that energy, and it is perfect for you and it is beautiful. It's exactly what you need. And we fulfill our purpose by expressing our uniqueness and really deeply accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, and knowing ourselves. And I want you to sink into that. Imagine if everyone on this planet accepted themselves wholly, understood themselves wholly, and loved themselves wholly. I think that the vibration of the earth would raise. I think that we would be living in a very, very different environment. So all types are perfect. We need you all. Okay. Now let's start by looking at what strategy is about. So strategy is how you will interact in the world with the least amount of resistance. Okay. If you use your strategy consistently, you will become more and more your authentic self every single day, and you'll stay on the path you were here to be on. All right. So the path that you're here on, the role you're here to play in the universe is preordained. Like that was decided at the moment of your birth. Okay, so human design is about bringing you back onto your path. And the way you do that is by using your strategy, which we're going to talk about, and to make decisions that consistently bring you back onto your unique path. And your strategy accesses the unique ways energy is designed to flow through your body and ultimately determines the way everything in your life plays out. Your health, when you live more in alignment with your energy, I've seen people have their digestion improve. I've seen people lose weight or gain weight and get to a really healthy weight, whatever they need to do. I've seen relationships repair. I've seen such a shift in my own family, understanding my kids' type and how they digest food, how they consume food, how they need to burn off energy throughout the day, how they learn, how to get them to make decisions. It has totally changed our family dynamic using our strategies. So you need to just understand that the strategy is how to interact in the world with the least amount of resistance. And then your signature, this is the theme or energy that you are seeking in your life. So this goal, you'll reach your signature goal. Hopefully you'll be feeling this as often as possible, as consistently as possible when you are in alignment with your type and you're using your strategy. So the signature really flows on when you're making decisions every day that are really true to you. And we're going to talk about that. All right. So we're going to start with the 5 types, and you'll see here that I've got the strategy and the signature listed down there as well. I'm sorry, I'm jumping in and out, but for some reason, it's not letting me see who's in the waiting room when I'm sharing screen. Yeah, someone was hashtag overwhelmed when they got their chart. Well, hopefully this will make it a little bit more simple for you, Ali. All right, let's start with manifestors. I don't think we had any manifestors in the house. Manifestors make up less than 10% of the population. So let me tell you a little bit more about manifestors, because you might decide to go and do the body graph of your partner, your parents, your children. And I would love for you to think about how amazing it would have been if your parents had known your type, had been pretty much that it's like giving them a manual to how to raise you with the least amount of resistance and allowing you to reach your full potential. Imagine that. I mean, I'm a parent. I've got 2 little boys, and I used to say, if only they came with a manual. And then I found human design. It was like, here it is. Here it is in this very incredible system. So let's talk about manifestors, because otherwise I'll be here all day. So you guys, manifestors, oh my gosh, you are here to initiate. You are the people that get stuff started. You are here to go independently. You're not going to be great at working in groups. So a lot of manifestors I meet, I used to hate, they'd say, I hated when we got put in groups to do assignments at school. You want to be out there, Lone Ranger, trailblazing, starting movements. Manifestors in years gone by were the kings and the queens. Okay, they got stuff done. They made the decision. Now, manifestors, to be truly in alignment with who you are, you need to be unapologetically yourself and don't ask permission for anything at all. If you want to start a project, you go and do it, and you do it fast, and you get in there and you get it moving along. You do need to inform. So you can see strategy there. Your strategy is to inform other people in your life of what you're doing. So let me give you an example of this, because you might actually have a manifestor in your family and you go, why don't they tell me what's in their head? Why don't they tell me what their plans are? Because they are just sitting there on the couch 1 second and then they're up and out the door and they've gone to, I don't know, do whatever out in the shed. And you're like, what? I thought we were doing this. And there can be some real discomfort in relationships because a manifestor, they just do what they want to do when they want to do it. They don't ask for permission and they generally don't tell you what they're doing. So the strategy for manifestors to be able to live with other human beings and other auras is to just say, I'm going out to the shed to do this. I'll be back in an hour. You don't have to ask permission. In fact, manifestors get really frustrated when they have to ask permission, and yet we raise kids to ask permission. So if you think about a manifestor child, and they have to ask to go to the toilet at school, and they have to wait until they're told it's lunchtime. They don't want to do that. They're up and out the door 10 minutes before the lunch bell rings because they're ready to eat. And often these are kids that are really classified with certain labels at school, sometimes medicated because, they're hard to manage. No. This is just, they have initiating energy. They have a lot of energy to get things started. They're independent. They kind of don't care about what other people want to do. And that's not a bad thing, because we need them. We need them to start movements. We need them to get the ball rolling in different projects. A frustration for manifestors is that they often feel like they have to wait for other people to catch up, that other people are too slow. And we have to remember, less than 10%, it's about 8% of the population are manifestors. So that leaves 92% of the population who feel very slow to manifestors. Come on, why can't you just get it going? You said you wanted to do this, let's just do it. That's a manifestor energy. And so the take-home tool, I guess, for manifestors, if you know one or if you are one, is to be unapologetically you. Do what you want to do, because if you don't, you'll get sick, emotionally, energetically, physically sick. But please just let the people know around you what you're up to and what you're going to do. And if the plan changes, because you'll see the other energy types, they can't keep up with you. And especially if you change your mind every, half an hour or an hour. Now, the other thing with manifestors is you are designed to initiate and get projects going. You are not designed to see them to completion. You're not designed to get bogged down in daily details, and you're not designed to finish a project generally. And so you want to get out of a project when your body says to, and you want to delegate it to other energy types like manifesting generators or generators. And the signature where we want to help manifestors get to is a sense of peace every single day. Peace as consistently as possible. And when you're feeling peace, that means you're in alignment, you're using your strategy, you're informing people, but you're being a manifestor and you're going out and you're doing what you want to do when you want to do it. So that is our beautiful manifestors. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on manifestors. Generator. Okay. So generators are around 37% of the population, and we had some of them in the group today, and I am a generator. So generators are pure life force energy. Generators are here to build things, to dive deep in and complete projects. So we're really good to delegate to manifestors. We have endless energy from our sacral center. So you remember back to your body graph, the sacral down the bottom, it's one square up from the root. We have that colored in. To be a generator, you have to have that colored in. And that means that that sacral center, which is a motor, we call it a motor, has energy. It can keep pumping, it can keep churning over and doing the work, but only when we're doing something that we love. So what I see a lot with generators is that they are in jobs that they don't love. They're doing things that do not light them up. They're in roles that do not allow them to sink into mastery and to really bring their own personal flavor to the project. Or they're really layered under a sense of obligation to family members or to their employer. And that is not living your generator energy. So for a lot of generators, when we are doing tasks that we have initiated, we feel resistance and we get frustrated. We get really frustrated. But I put this offer out into the world and no one's taken it up. Let me give you another example. So you might have a family member who's unwell and no one really asked you if you wanted to be the key carer. And so you just start doing it, and then you find you're frustrated. You find that there's resistance. You find that everything kind of gets in your way. You find that there's lots of blocks and you're really not enjoying it and you're resenting the rest of the family. Now, if it was something that you really wanted to do and you were invited to do it, you would have endless energy for that. I hope that's making sense. It's like, for me, I feel like I'm scattered and I'm kind of thinking about all these things that I could do in the world and, what I could do in my job and how I could parent this way and how I could homeschool this way. And then it's not until I kind of click on the one thing that's my thing that my body goes, yes, yep, yes, that is it. That I feel like I come back in alignment. I feel like I slot back in to my groove and my path. And then I can work all night. I can not eat. When I'm really in the groove, I can do that. So if you have a generator in your life, and I see this in my kids, I have 2 boys who are both generators. If they're in the groove with Lego, or for my youngest, playing with his monster trucks and his cars, he can do that all day. All day. Ask him to, fold the washing, and that's not something he loves, and that does not go down well. So with generators, you want to really go deep in a topic, deep into things that you love. And as I said, you can sit up all night reading about it and researching it. So with generators, what you want to ask yourself always is, when you're offered an opportunity or something comes into your sphere of reference, you want to ask, does this give me energy or does this take energy from me? And I want to talk about the sacral response. I call it the sacral response. So with generators, where you are sacral authority, you want to always listen to or feel the gut response. And I've got my hands on my tummy. I know you probably can't see that, because it is a literal response. And generally it's a uh-huh or an uh-uh. Generators make a lot of primal noises. We grunt, we moan, we sigh, and a lot of people think that that's us being rude or not using our words, but that is how we communicate. And I would love if you're a generator to share with me if you've ever felt that people do go, why do you sigh all the time? Or maybe when you're a little kid, you were told to use your words. But we use sound, and it comes from this guttural sacral response. The other thing that it can feel like for some generators, because everyone is different, is it can feel a little bit like a pull forward into something or a retraction. So an opportunity comes up, your boss says, I'd like you to do, would you like to do this project? And it's a instant yes or a retraction. And it happens in the moment, and it's really quick. And if you aren't listening, you will say yes to things and commit to things that you don't want to do. Okay? And that is when you'll be off path, you'll start to get burnt out, you'll feel resentful, all those feelings of frustration will come up. So your strategy for a generator is to always respond. So you're not an initiator, that's a manifestor. You are not here to initiate something just out of your brain with no point of reference or invitation from the world. Now, when I say that, a lot of people say, I don't want to sit back and just respond to life. What I mean is you can absolutely put out little breadcrumbs of things. Hey, would you guys in my world be interested in me sharing this? And I did this with human design. Anyone interested in learning about this? And I got a torrent of emails and messages. Yes, yes, yes. And then I responded. Instead of creating this class and creating my readings and putting it out there and no one responding and then being frustrated because why didn't anyone respond? I'm not meant to initiate. Now, a sign can be absolutely anything. It can be an email that comes into your inbox after you've been thinking about, I need to buy a new jumper, right? And then you get an email about a jumper that's on sale. That's a sign, and you can respond to that. And this is the practice. The struggle for generators and manifesting generators is that we have been conditioned with the Nike symbol of just go do it, right? We live in a society that says, go get it done, just do it, get out there, take action. I'm sorry, but only 8% of the population is meant to do that. And that's why you're consistently maybe feeling frustrated and stuck. I know when I learned this, it was like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulder. You mean I don't have to be an initiator? So, so cool. Now, what we're aiming for as a generator is to feel a sense of satisfaction, because we love going deep, mastering things, and really building things and doing the work based off something we're responding to. So that's what we're looking for as a generator. All right, let's go into our amazing manifesting generators. So around 35%, same sacral definition as generators. So you have that sacral colored in, but you have a connection to the throat center that generators don't. So that's a little bit of a difference here. Now, you have more of a manifesting energy. You're still not meant to initiate. You're still not meant to initiate. You are meant to respond to life. That's your strategy. I'm going to respond. Manifesting generators are non-linear beings so you don't want to necessarily master something. You kind of want to get in, learn it, and get out. You want to get in, do what you need to do, and get out. Really, you kind of, that's how you are. You've got your fingers in lots of pies. You're someone that might be considered entrepreneurial, or you might be someone that people always say, what are you doing now? What are you up to next? How many projects have you got on the go? And you can be seen by people around you as flaky or non-committal, but you just know when you need to stop and change directions, and you can do that really fast. Generators can't do that. They need time to slow down and stop. We're like a big steam train that needs time to stop and change tracks. Manifesting generators, the moment you go, this is boring, I'm not interested, this is not getting me where I want to go, it's not for me, you can get out of there really, really quick. And manifesting generators, you have so much energy and you really show us what is possible. You show the world what can be achieved. And you'll know a manifesting generator. They have a lot on the go. They're always busy and working, and we often tell them, slow down, rest more, how's your self-care going? But this is their energy. And in fact, only working 2 or 3 hours a day on something that they love would feel really wrong to them. So you are multi-passionate. You need to follow what excites you. And in a career space or an employment setting, you really want to be given free rein to follow your passion. And you can feel really caged in a job where you've just got kind of one task or one activity over and over and over and over. And again, your manifesting generators, your strategy is to respond here. So same as generator, you need to wait for something that comes into your world that asks you a question or invites you into something, and then you're going to listen to your authority. So it might be your sacral. You're going to go, does this feel good? Or if you've got emotional authority, which we'll talk about later, you won't want to make a decision until you've gone through an emotional wave. You want to use your authority to make that decision, but you want to really just respond. Very, very hard for manifesting generators because you've been conditioned to get stuff done and to start stuff, right? Anyone feel that way? We had some manifesting generators in the group. So let me dive in and see how you guys are feeling, because I'm a generator. I need to communicate with you and get a response. So Emily's partner is a manifestor. Yep. So you might want to share with him that he needs to let you know what's going on. Yep. Jane's daughter is a manifestor. Yes. Manifesting kids, they really just don't need to be raised. They know how to raise themselves. Yep, Jane remembers that. Yep. Oh, beautiful. Decision making is so hard. Okay, so when we get into authority, they'll tell you how to make decisions. Katie, thank you for sharing. Good, I'm glad this is landing for you. Let's get into our beautiful projectors. I know we've got a couple on the call. Okay, you're about 14% of the population. And I find projectors can be the most heavily conditioned to be what you are not. Because you are in a world of people who have energy to accomplish things and get stuff done. You are not an energy being. So if you look at your body graph, you don't have that sacral motor defined or coloured in. It'll be white. It'll be clear. So you still have a sacral. You absolutely still have a sacral centre, but it isn't coloured in. So that means that you can't pump energy through your body and put it out into the universe constantly. But you are in a world that tells you that you should. And so years and years of conditioning, society saying you should be this way, your parents telling you to, work harder, why aren't you doing your homework? Maybe you should do after school, activities, and then you go to uni and you've got to be at classes and exam, all of this conditioning of do more, accomplish more, be more, really drains the projector. And I see a lot of projectors who burn out in their 30s and 40s, really burn out, they do depression, they do anxiety, because they have been trying to keep up with the energy of all the generators and the manifesting generators and the manifestors. The beautiful aura that you bring to the world is that you have a really direct, focused way of seeing the world, and you look into other people. You're very wise. Very wise. And there are times when you might get frustrated that we can't see what you see in us, but we just can't. You are so good at looking into the other. So the projector, your strategy here is to wait for the invitation to engage. Really, really difficult again, because you've been told your whole life to initiate. So really, if nothing else from this class, you gorgeous projectors, you get this. You are designed to rest a lot. 2 to 3 hours of work a day is enough for you. And the rest of the time you just want to play and relax and be and learn. You love learning. You love mastering and going deep into subjects that light you up. You love that so much. But, you know, for most of you, you're working 9 to 5, sometimes commuting, doing all these extra things, and it tires your energy out, tires your aura out. And waiting for that invitation is about reminding a projector to rest, as well as you are not here to initiate. You're actually not even here to respond. You have to wait for the invitation. And what that means is, it doesn't mean that you don't put your passions out into the world. It doesn't mean that you don't share what you're learning and loving. It doesn't mean that you don't say to a friend, oh my God, I love this book that I've just read. But you're not here to say, you should read this book. You're not here to say, I'm going to create this course for you all to learn this because I love it. That's not what you're here to do. You're here to wait for someone to literally ring you, message you, email you and say, I want your opinion. Can you share this with me? Can you help me with this? What do you think of this? And so projectors generally find that they are the beautiful people that we go to for a bit of a sounding board, for a bit of wise counsel. And if you're a projector, maybe type into the chat box if that's kind of feeling good for you. Because generally when I give someone a reading that's projector, they just collapse into, oh my gosh, thank goodness I don't have to keep up with all you energy types. Because when I do, I just feel frustrated and overwhelmed, and I burn out. Projector parents, this can be really difficult because you want to rest. You actually want to put in 2 or 3 hours and then go and hide in your cave and nap. You want to do that. That's really hard. And a lot of my friends who are projector parents right now with their kids home from school are struggling and are having to find the resources to be able to engage and give their kids what they need, but then tap out when their partner gets home or tap out on the weekends, because you need to rest. So if you can think about a career or something you could do where you only work 2 to 3 hours a day, that's perfect for you as a projector. And what you're really looking for in signature is success. That's your signature. So you're wanting to really find something that you love doing in your life that lights you up, that you just want to do for yourself. You know, you're going to sink into that 2 to 3 hours a day. The rest of the day is for play and chilling out, napping, and really resting your body. But you want to feel a sense of success, and you will if you use your strategy, if you wait for the invitation. I'll give you an example of projector. So I've got a projector in my doTERRA team. She's one of my leaders, and for many years she's struggled with like approaching people to look at her product that she sells. She's really struggled with picking up the phone or sending an email. And when we realized she was a projector, we were like, oh yeah, that's not going to flow for you. That's not going to work. And people's walls will go up because you're not meant to do that. No calling, no initiating, no sending out invitations. You're meant to wait till someone says to you, geez, you smell good, or why is your house feel so calm, or what are you using for your kids with sleep? And then you engage in that energetic interaction. And when we tweak that, things flowed in her business. So knowing your human design can help in so many areas. I hope you're seeing that. Because when you start playing with this and experimenting and getting back on your own track, things will flow to you. It's so amazing. It's amazing. All right, let's go with reflectors. This is our last energy type. So these are only 1% of the population, guys. 1%. And I have not met a reflector yet. Very, very, very rare. And when you look at their body graph, the 9 centers that we had a little look at before, they're all white. Nothing is colored in, so there's no definition. And reflectors haven't got an energy source really at all. They don't, to fuel their actions. But what reflectors do, and why we need them, is that they reflect back to people, society's issues. They tell us when things are not okay in society. And we really need our reflectors. They are so important to show us what is needed to move forward as a civilization in harmony. What reflectors do, because they are all, those white centers are all open and clear, is that they take in energy. So anything on your chart that's white is where you take in other people's energy and what's going on around you in the environment. Anything that's colored in is your own consistent energy. So with a reflector, when it's all white, they are constantly sampling energy and reflecting it and judging the environment and putting it back out there. So it can be really hard for reflectors to live in this society. They're often seen as a little bit odd or on the outer. They're often psychic. They're really attuned to the cosmic environment. And if you stood before a reflector, if you stood in front of a reflector, they would reflect back to you your own stuff. And so they can be sometimes a bit intense to be around, but so needed. And they need to, when making decisions, they actually shouldn't make a decision on something deep, like big. They should decide what to eat for breakfast. But if they're making a decision on a career move or, you know, a relationship, they should wait a full moon cycle, 28 days to make that decision. And their signature is surprise. So what reflectors want from this life is to be in awe and to be in wonder. That's really where they're wanting to move. And I so want to meet some reflectors and be able to offer them readings because I want to learn a little bit more about them. They're pretty special. Okay, so that's the 5 types, and I'm going to go through the rest of it in about 5 or 10 minutes, so stay with me. This, though, I wanted to show you is how I kind of visualize conditioning. This is that little sort of yellow arrow on the left there. I kind of look at that and go, that's pointing to that little rock, and that's your essence. That's how you were when you came into the world, when you were born earthside. That's how you were. And then over the years, you have had these layers of expectations and conditions, and you've made decisions that aren't right for you, but you felt committed to them, so you followed them through, and you've chosen maybe career paths because of what other people think you should do, and all these layers of stuff that kind of can make you feel trapped. And so human design is about slowly just taking off one rock at a time and exposing who you really are, and using your strategy and your authority, which we'll talk about now, to move you forward into a space where you can feel totally free and totally you, authentically you. All right, let's go into authority. So a few of you in the chat box are saying, you know, it can be hard to make decisions. How do I make decisions in my life? And so your authority is what you're going to start using. So after today's class, you're going to practice only making decisions in alignment with your own authority. Okay, this is what you will use to uniquely and energetically make decisions. Now, with human design, what we teach is decisions should actually never be made from your head, never be made from your mind. All decisions should be made from a body sense, something that happens in your body, your authority. And if you continue to do that and try that, and it is a practice, it is an experiment, I still, every day, still go up here to make decisions and then have to remind myself, gut, gut, gut. I actually have post-it note in front of my desk, you know, and listen to my sacral, listen to my aha, listen to my is this going to give me energy or take energy away? So you might want to create some reminders for yourself around this. And this is how you decondition yourself. This is how you take those rocks off your shoulders, and you can be feeling, you can make space to feel like you can be just truly you. So play with this, and you can use this kind of your authority to make decisions from like what you want to eat to like where you want to travel to in the day. Like, do you want to go to the letterbox? Because that's as far as we can pretty much go at the moment. Or do you not? What hobby you want to take up right now? Listen to your authority. So you're ready to dive in. This is the hierarchy of authorities. So if you have your solar plexus, so remembering hopefully where they were, your emotional authority, if you have that colored in, that is the number one head honcho, even if you've got other authorities colored in. So for me, I have my sacral colored in. I also have my spleen colored in. Now, looking at this hierarchy, it means that I always need to listen to my sacral before I listen to my splenic authority. My sacral authority comes first. If you have, what would be another example? If you have your solar plexus colored in and your G center, your self-authority, your solar plexus still comes, that's the first thing you're going to listen to. And then you may consider listening to your G center. So this is the hierarchy of authority. So just have a look at your body graph, what's colored in, and look at what your authority is, which you would have got on your chart. let's talk about the solar plexus authority. So when you've got a solar plexus authority, it's called your emotional authority. You need to wait out your emotional wave and get clarity before making a decision. So you are not designed to decide on things when you are feeling really happy and high or feeling really, really low. What you want to do is just wait till you come to an even keel. That might take a day, that might take 2 days, it might take 4 days, and then get clarity and then make your decision. And I shared this with a friend recently who was buying a house. She was so excited to get out of the environment that she was in, have a new house. She was so excited, right? And she was like, I've put an offer in on this, but now I'm not sure the next day, because she decided at a high. I said, right, you need to just step back, try and get your money back from that, breathe, go through the wave, get clarity when you are in a really centered position, and then decide, which she did. And the house she then chose was way more perfect for her. So this is 50% of people in the world. But we, with consumerism, are told, make decisions quick, you know, add it to cart, use Afterpay, make decisions now, when you're in an emotional high or emotional low. So just, you're going to, if you have emotional authority or solar plexus is colored in, you want to wait out that wave. Sleep on it, have some patience. The thing I just want to quickly point out with this is you will never have 100% clarity. There's never going to be a point where you're like, I am 100% certain, so don't wait for that, but you want to get to like 70, 80, 90% certain, and then make your decision. All right, if your authority is a sacral authority, you will be a generator or a manifesting generator. And this authority is that gut felt sense, really. So it could be an aha or an ana, and it's immediately heard or felt when you're committing to something. And the thing with sacral is you only want really to ask someone with sacral authority yes or no questions, because it's very hard for us to tap into that decision if you give us an open-ended question. So I want to give you a really basic example for my boys who are generators. If I say, what would you like for lunch? They say, I don't know. They literally, I don't know. They can't even conceptualize that. But if I say, do you want a sandwich? They will say so quickly, and sometimes with a grunt or a yup or a or a like they give me a verbal, sometimes just a sound, sometimes it's a nah. And we go through, do you want spaghetti bolognese? Do you want, and we just keep going through until they get that yes. And I'm trying to teach my kids, if you have generator kids, that they need to listen to that. And that is exactly right for them. They'll choose the foods that are right for them in general. Obviously, you're in control of what you offer. If it's a, you know, they kind of shrug their shoulders and like, then it's an I don't know right now, ask me later, or you need to ask me in a different way. So you need to practice this. Okay, if you're a generator, ask your partner or ask, you know, your friends, or say, can you ask me yes or no questions because I'm trying to make a decision. And it really only works in the present moment. So what you decide there, that yes, is for the present moment. It's not able to predict what you'll want in the future. You may change your mind, and that's okay, because you'll ask yourself these questions again and wait for that response. Now, for some, as I said before, it's a pull or a retraction in the body. Some generators say that it's a taste they get. Everyone's different, but I want you to play in your body about a response you get. Is it a yes or a no? And if it's a, it's generally a no, or it's a no right now, you'll know when it's a hell yeah. I call it a hell yeah. And I do this with pretty much everything now, with eating, with clothes that I'm buying, with books that I want to read. I ask myself, is this something, do you really want to read this now? And I get that immediate yes or no. I hope that's making sense for you guys. Now, if you've got a splenic authority, your spleen is defined. So that's that little triangle on the left of your body graph, brown triangle pointing towards the sacral. And when that is defined with no sacral definition or solar plexus definition, so the square in the middle isn't colored in and the triangle on the right isn't colored in, you have splenic authority. And splenic authority is an inner knowing. It is like, it's like a whisper, and it's an instinct. And it's instantaneous, and it does not repeat itself. So this is, let's say you get asked out on a date, and because I want to give you a real example, and there is something that washes through your body that tells you, no, this is not right. And what happens there is our mind then gets in, oh, but he seems really lovely. And Sarah said he's a really good guy, and he's got a list of things that I really want in a man. But that little whisper, that little moment of no, is your authority that you have to learn to listen to. And sometimes, a lot of the time, it's not going to make sense. A lot of the time you'll be like, no, I'm going to miss out on something here. But later on, this is where splenic authority, generally projectors say to me, I knew I should have listened to my instinct. I knew that that wasn't safe, or I knew that that wouldn't help me. I knew that that wouldn't be a positive thing in my world. And it's highly evolved. And the spleen is all about survival. The spleen is about intuition. It's where we house our immunity. And so it is very much about keeping you safe and alive. Okay, but it's soft, it doesn't repeat itself. And the women that I see living in alignment with their splenic authority, they make decisions that seem so weird and wacky and out of place in the moment. And then in 6 months' time, it's like, oh, that's exactly what you needed to do. You did need to just move to Bali on a whim. Like, because that's where you met your future husband, or that's where your business started to blossom, or that's where you healed. You know, it's quite amazing when you step into this authority space. So don't listen to the mind or what other people are telling you. He's a great guy, just go out with him. If your spleen, your authority goes, nah, don't do it. You must listen. The heart center as well is our ego authority. I'm really aware of time. We've only got a couple more slides, so stick with me. So the heart center is the ego, and that is the tiny little, the sort of smaller triangle halfway up on the right above the solar plexus. Now, only manifestors have this authority, and it's where the heart center is attached to the throat center. So one of you said your husband is a manifestor, so have a look at if his authority is heart. So heart center, they express their authority through their throat. So they need to talk about their thoughts and process their feelings. And it's not a scripted or planned processing of their feelings. It's just blurting out in the moment. So that first kind of expression of their opinion on something, or their thought about something, or their response to something is the truth. Generally though, what I see with heart-centered authorities is they say it and then they retract it because their brain goes, no, that can't be right, or that's not right for you, or that's not kind, or don't think that. So you do need to try to stop scripting what you say, listen to your words, and really hear what the truth is that's coming through. And you're here to have an impact. So surrender to the truth of your voice. It's very, very powerful. And what I see with manifestors with heart centers is they will speak rarely, but it will be very, very powerful. You need to trust your voice. Now, a lot of us have been silenced as kids, told not to speak too loudly, don't speak rudely, know your opinion's wrong. Especially women, we have been silenced for generations. So I find a lot of heart-centered women in particular don't trust their own voice. Okay? The thing with heart-centered, just to remember, is you have a big heart. So when you commit to something that you don't want to do, you will stay committed to it and you will see it through, because that's what your heart is all about. That's what your energy is about. So you have to be really, really sure before you commit to things. Do I have the energy to do this or not? Do I really want to do this or not? Because the heart center has to keep its promises. It just kind of has to. But that breeds resentment. That breeds that sense of feeling trapped and feeling caged in your life. So don't commit to long-term projects unless you're certain you really have the energy for it and you want to do it. And for heart center, you really want to create a beautiful balance between work and rest. And you really only want to work so you can play. That's what you're here to do. Okay, heart center projected authority. So only projectors can have, ego projected authority. Only projectors can have this. And this is where the heart center is connected to the G center, which is the big diamond in the center of the chest. It's very rare. So if you do have ego projected authority, you're a rare form of projector. And what you want to do here is to your process here is to wait to be recognized and invited, and then you will have an incredibly powerful transformative force. So you want to always ask, what do I want to do and what's in it for me? Do I really want to do this and what's in it for me? And again, with that heart, you'll either have the energy or you won't, but once you commit, you'll want to keep your promise. All right. So very, very similar to the manifested authority. Very, very similar. Okay. So in wrapping up, I'll jump into Q&A and I'll jump into your comments in just a sec. But really, I've told you quite a lot. It's scratching the surface. You can see already there's things that I want to say. I'm like, no, don't go there. It's too much right now. The things that you can do from today. Observe how your energy impacts others around you. Observe energy. Do you walk into a room, you can feel how the people in that room are feeling? Do you get up in the morning, if you're in a crappy mood, you go out to your family and you can see how your crappy mood infects everybody else? Really just start observing energy and how you impact those around you. Work with your strategy. Are you here to inform people? Are you here to respond? Are you here to wait for the invitation? Start practicing that this week and see what shifts or see what opens up for you. See what comes your way. And then look at that authority that we talked about. Hopefully you noted some things down about your specific authority and start making decisions with that and see how things change. I think you'll see things change quite quickly, but we have to be kind and compassionate to ourselves. We are very conditioned, guys. There is so much energy around us that we've taken on and taken into our body from other people. Be kind. Notice when you make decisions, you're like, oh, that's my old way of thinking. Thinking through things, and just maybe note them down or come onto my Instagram and share with me. I'd love that. Tag me in your Instagram posts or send me an email back to the email address that you got the link for today's class. I'd love to hear you playing with this and experimenting, because that's what human design is actually about. And if you want to learn more and go deeper, stay tuned. There'll be more of these free classes coming out over time. But I do want to encourage you to follow me on Instagram if you don't already, because I do share daily actions and really practical ways that this stuff shows up in our life and how I'm using it in my family as well. You can absolutely order your personal human design blueprint. So that'll go deeper into those channels and gates, your incarnation cross, your profile being I'm a 6/4, is that I'm an opportunist role model. So your profile really tells you the costume you wear in this lifetime and your purpose and how you're here to show up for humanity and civilization. It's amazing, the profile stuff. So you can absolutely email me back and order your personal reading. If you want me to look at your chart and go deeper and give you that 15, 20 page report, it just depends how much comes out of your chart. I'm also going to invite you to join the Joy Society. So opening today until the 12th of May, I am starting a membership group where I want to teach more human design in that group, in a beautiful space where we can feel safe to share what's going on and really go deeper. That's me. I'm a generator. I've got to master things. I go deep. And so I want to create a space where every month I can come with trainings and coachings and expert speakers and book recommendations and tools and tips to help you move towards more joy in your life. And I really see a fit with human design and that mission of mine to help women live lives they love. Because if you can really understand yourself and know who you are, you'll discover what you want, and you'll also have the tools with human design to get it, to create it, and to design your life. So if you're interested in joining the Joy Society, the founding member rate is $19 a month. That closes on Monday. And then the doors will close for a little while because I want to go in and give epic value and service, a little bit like the class you've experienced in here, but you get access to me in that group at a much bigger space of energy that I've got to give in there. And then the doors, I don't know, the doors might open again in June, but the price will go up. So I wanted to offer that to you guys. as well. We've already started welcoming in our first beautiful members to that. I'm going to jump back into the chat box and have a little bit of a look if anyone has any questions, any aha moments. And if you've got what you need and you want to go and start playing with this, thank you so much for being kind to me as I navigate this first kind of class and how I want to share this information in a group setting. Thank you for that, because I've really only done this one-on-one. Although I've taught groups for years, this is new content. So let me just have a look. So Carla, so glad I know my girls are projectors now so I can help them understand themselves. I have so much I want to share on parenting with human design. Being a social worker and working with lots of kids in the school system that did not fit the school system, having my own babies and wishing that I knew this from when they were born, I just think that this is such a gift to give. And I have had people purchase the blueprint as a gift to a friend or a sister or someone who really needed some guidance in their life. It just gives people permission to be themselves. So yeah, and as a mum with manifesting generator energy, I really need to check in with my energy, make sure I'm not pushing them and burning them out. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Ali, makes so much sense being brought up to go, go, go and just feeling tired all the time. Yep. Yep, you need naps, babes. 2 to 3 hours of work a day and you are done. Lauren, so much of the projectors info is giving me aha moments with Charlie. I mean, imagine a childhood where our beautiful projector kids were allowed to, because they're really here to master what they love and just learn what they love. Imagine if they could do that, where they just loved trains and they could just learn trains for 2 to 3 hours a day and then just play. Like really, they would grow up to be much healthier, mentally, emotionally, physically healthier as well. Jane, you're so welcome. Yeah, you will want to know more. So lucky you're in the Joy Society, because you'll be getting access to me and human design a lot more. Yeah, great. You're a generator too, Lauren. Awesome. And you'll start to look at things that have happened over your life. You'll start to see where you made incorrect decisions for your energy type. You'll also, for me, and for a lot of people that I talk with in this space, they kind of forgive their parents for not understanding them, because they didn't understand themselves, you know? You kind of go, well, I can see why my parents parented me that way, but it wasn't in alignment with my design. And now I know who I am, I can change things. So cool. Alicia, awesome. Yeah. You're so welcome. And you'll want to, a lot of people will want to really dive deep into this. So I'm excited to bring more classes to you. Let me know what you want to learn. I look forward to doing your readings. If you're going to order your readings for yourself or for family, we can do the reading for a child as well. If you're struggling with a child that you just think, oh, I just don't know how to parent this kid, this can be so enlightening and so helpful to move you forward. So hopefully that's of benefit to you. All right, guys. There doesn't seem to be any other questions. Thanks so much for joining in. Really appreciate it. Love seeing your face, Alicia. I can't see anyone else, but so nice to see you. I'm glad you could get on. All right, I'll let you get back to kids and whatever else is going on. And you will get this recording in a replay email in the next few hours. So you can come back and listen to it if you need to again, or take any notes. But apart from that, send me an email if you have any other questions. All right, big love. Take care. See ya.